From the producers of News in a Nutshell comes 1 Minute Mapping, a cartographic look at what's happening a world away in our own backyard. First up, nation building today. When we last left our friends in Iraq, U.S. troops were headed home and things were looking up. But today, Iraq is seeing the worst violence since the civil war sparked by the U.S. occupation. After Shiite Prime Minister al-Maliki did everything he could to squeeze out the Sunnis, sectarian fighting is back as the black banners of Sunni Islamic extremists fly once again over Anbar province. Not to be outdone, the Iraqi government is bombing from above because that worked out so well when the United States did it. What does a brand new $20 billion police force and army buy you? Government forces firing Hellfire missiles from Cessnas and fanatical Muslims overrunning Fallujah and Ramadi. But there's more. The Sunni zealots who helped kill 8,000 Iraqis this year are also at work in Syria, fighting the Iranian-backed Shiite extremists who are fighting on behalf of Assad's Alawite regime, which has led to renewed sectarian violence in Lebanon between Sunni and Shiite. Strange bedfellows are born as Iran and the USA say, "My enemy's enemy is my friend," in Iraq, but not in Syria. But it's not really about Iraq, Lebanon, or Syria. It's a good old-fashioned proxy war between Shiite Iran and Sunni Saudi Arabia, with neighboring strongmen out of the picture and the U.S. just plain tuckered out. Regional stability is in the hands of two extremist theocracies, which is why this takes more than 1 minute to explain.
Hi there, I'm Darin Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
You're tuned in to the Conscious Revolution right here at Radio Free Canada. We're downtown in Kelowna, and it's a little bit chilly. That's why we're dressed for it.
It's not that cold.
No, it's not. What are we coming out of here?
We're coming out of the 1 Minute Middle East update. Actually, it was a little longer than that, but that just gives you a little glimpse into what's going on in the Middle East right now as a result of U.S. imperialist interference.
So in case you weren't paying attention, I have no idea what clip started things off. I'm just here taking up space right now. He's the guy with the actual information.
Well, if I shared it a little better, maybe you would have it.
Yeah,
anyway.
you know, that pre-production thing. We're talking about huge quantities of bovine excrement right here on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. What do you got?
Well, apparently, instead of covering important things like the Middle East and the NSA hearings, the American media finds that the Justin Bieber news is much more important.
How far do the grips of fever go here?
Well, we're in the newsroom, so we see these screens all of the time of all the other cable news networks. But there was one moment on MSNBC that I thought was particularly emblematic of what was going on here. And just to set this up, Andrea Mitchell in the afternoon was surprisingly having a moment where they weren't talking about Justin Bieber. They were talking about the NSA. She was asking the former chair of the House Intelligence Committee what she thought about reports that the NSA's data collection was illegal, and this is what happened next.
I think at this point we should seriously consider not continuing
Congresswoman
Section
Harman,
215
let me interrupt you. Congresswoman, let me interrupt you just for a moment. We've got some breaking news out of Miami. Stand by, if you will. Right now in Miami, Justin Bieber has been arrested on a number of charges. The judge is reading the charges, including resisting arrest and driving under the influence. He's appearing now before the judge for his bond hearing. Let's watch.
Yeah, so
that was a little painful to watch.
It is so painful to watch, right? It's like, so I'm going to let you finish with talking about ending a key part of the Patriot Act.
Breaking news here.
Exactly, but this is the best arrest of all time.
Wow.
So yeah, that's kind of emblematic of something that we saw all throughout the day, this total obsession of something that really doesn't have an impact on anyone's daily.
Oh, it's not bad. It's not that cold out here.
No, it's not.
No, it's not bad. It's okay. You know what? We're going to be down here every Sunday, starting at about noon. We're going to be taping, and when things warm up, we're going to be gathering people together to talk about, well, bovine excrement to start with, but also talk about solutions.
Speaking of government nonsense,
yes.
Apparently the Department of Homeland Security has issued a new warning for travelers to the Sochi Olympics.
So while we congratulate Robert for an effortless segue, we want you to check this out.
Another potential threat for those headed to Sochi from the U.S. for the Winter Olympic Games. As the first events get underway at the Winter Olympics in Russia, American security authorities are warning civilian airlines that explosives could be smuggled onto planes in toothpaste tubes.
That's right, tubes of toothpaste. Unnamed U.S. officials told both CNN and ABC the alert was issued by the Department of Homeland Security to both U.S. and foreign airlines. The warning says some intelligence indicates the toothpaste tubes or other similar cosmetic tubes may be housing ingredients that could be used to construct a bomb on a plane. It's unclear what prompted the alert in the first place, but a Department of Homeland Security official told ABC authorities haven't identified any specific threat to the U.S. This routine communication is an important part of our commitment to making sure we meet that priority. DHS will continue to adjust security measures to fit an ever-evolving threat environment. And a U.S. law enforcement official reiterated that same thought to CNN, saying authorities' confidence in the safety of Sochi and the Olympic venues is growing. It's the areas outside of the city, like regional transportation links, that have them worried. Security in Sochi has been tight for months now because of the threat Islamic militants in the country pose to the Games. In the past 3 months, Russia has seen 3 suicide bombings in its northern cities that have been linked to those militants. The U.S. State Department cautioned Americans heading to Sochi for the Games to exercise good judgment because of the terror threat. But President Obama said in an interview last week that he believes the city is safe.
In these large settings like this, there are always some risks involved.
For Newsy, I'm Jamal Andrus.
So right now we did some editing. We dropped a thing about the Vatican. We want you to go and look it up. But Pope Francis has some interesting stuff. So, but we'll save that for a different date.
That's right.
Nothing like confusing your audience and talking about stuff we're not doing.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Anyway, last week was Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes, and if
there
you missed it.
was millions spent on security.
Uh-huh.
However, one reporter showed just how effective U.S. security is.
I couldn't believe this when I saw it. Check this out.
Well, it's the day after the Super Bowl, and we've just witnessed what in America looks like the Soviet Union's old May Day parades. We've got all this pageantry, most of it now about the police state and the military-industrial complex. And over the weekend, agencies like Fox News were just ecstatic about it, reporting breathlessly in admiration about the police state that was coming. But they also talk about how they had a 24-hour FBI command center, and they've got radiation detectors, and of course, surveillance cameras everywhere. But, you know, what could go wrong with all of that security everywhere? Well, we had an inkling on Sunday morning. CBS goes by and takes a look at this vaunted security system, again, doing another dog and pony show, the mainstream media building up the police state for them. And look at what happens. They get a screenshot of the Wi-Fi password for the security center for the Super Bowl. Oops. Now, the guy who wrote about this on Yahoo Sports says, well, it's a small error, but if that's the biggest snafu of the Super Bowl, then the security staff did their job. Well, it got a lot worse than that, because after the game was over, we had a lone wolf journalist drop a video bomb on the Super Bowl.
Investigate 9/11. 9/11 was perpetrated by people within our own government.
Now, the most important thing that we take away from this, of course, besides the waste of the money and the fact that it's nothing but security theater, said the threat is really an all-encompassing police state and a control grid. You see, the NSA, the TSA, the Homeland Security, all these Viper teams, what they're really doing is terrorizing and robbing American citizens.
So we have to do the great big thumbs up, or two thumbs up.
To Mr. Mullins, yeah, that really took cojones, my friend.
Oh, man, I really respect that guy. That guy and the guy who stood beside Harper got all the way up to Harper on stage, held up a sign that said climate justice, and got tackled. Anywho.
Well, here we have one of those stories that makes you go, WTF? Apparently 4 high-ranking financial people have died under mysterious circumstances in the past 2 weeks.
Karma's catching up. Check it out.
3 prominent Wall Street executives and 1 financial reporter have all died or disappeared in a span of a few days. Though the police and mainstream media have labeled the deaths as likely suicides, the fact that all 4 men have ties to various major financial fraud investigations does tend to raise our collective eyebrows over here at Buzzsaw. Yes.
The deaths began on Sunday, January 26th, when William Brexmit, a top executive at Deutsche Bank, who had retired in 2013, was found hung in his home in South Kensington section of London. The day after Brooke Smith was found dead, Eric Ben Artzi, a former risk analysis turned whistleblower on Deutsche Bank, was scheduled to speak at Auburn University on his allegations that Deutsche Bank had hid $12 billion in losses during the financial crisis with the knowledge of senior executive. Deutsche Bank is also under investigation for potentially rigging the foreign exchange markets, an action similar to the charge it settled in 2013 over the LIBOR scandal.
28th, 2 days later, a 39-year-old American, Gabriel McGee, a vice president at JP Morgan, also in London, plunged to his death from the roof of the 33-story European headquarters of JP Morgan. But JP Morgan is under the same global investigation for potential involvement in rigging foreign exchange rates as Deutsche Bank.
A day later, 50-year-old Michael Duker, the chief economist at Russell Investments, is said to have died from a 50-foot fall from a highway ramp on an embankment in Washington State.
Then you have our final person that we talk about, which is David Bird. David Bird is an oil markets reporter who had worked at the Wall Street Journal for 20 years and vanished without a trace on the afternoon of January 11th. His work includes the commodities market, oil, which is under investigation by the U.S. Senate's Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations for Possible Manipulation. That is for people who now are under investigation, have been in some way either charged with or under investigation, or working within a very serious commodities and securities part of the financial industry. And to have that many deaths, like I said, is really disturbing.
In that short time period.
Right, and it just makes me wonder what's going on.
Ah, yes, being a bankster must be tough.
Makes you wonder what they know.
And if you want to see a really big scam, look up the acronym LIBOR.
Yeah.
Okay? Remember, these scams are happening all the time, but people are starting to catch up to it. We just want to see bankers go to jail, just like in Iceland.
And now for our final story.
Yes.
A personage we don't generally talk about.
No.
That would be Her Royal Highness Queen Elizabeth II. Apparently, she is a bad money manager.
Oh, God, say it's not so bad. Check this one out.
Vital repairs at Buckingham Palace have been put off for decades because the royal household has been spending beyond its means. The electrical wiring system from 1949 needs replacing, and so does the 60-year-old boiler. The backlog of repairs across the entire royal residences would cost more than $90 million.
And the Royal Picture Gallery, all too often they have buckets because of the water coming through.
But even though the value of her estates makes the Queen one of the richest women in the world, cash flow seems to be a problem. Last year, the Queen received $57 million from the British taxpayer to carry out her public duties. But the royal household overspent and sucked $4 million out of her royal savings account, meaning the Queen's down to her last £1 million, or 1.8 million Canadian, an all-time low. In order to fix her finances and crumbling homes, Parliament has made a polite suggestion to Her Majesty. They say the Queen could raise more cash if she threw open the doors to Buckingham Palace every time she's away, instead of for only 1 month a year. The Tower of London is open all year round and pays for itself. If Buckingham Palace did the same, it would quadruple its revenue. Luckily for the Queen, she won't have to pick up the tab for Prince Charles and Camilla's royal tour of Canada this year. Canadian taxpayers are covering that. But when it comes to the upkeep of her royal homes, the Queen is being told to rein it in. Stuart Greer, Global News, London.
So I feel sorry for the Queen right now.
Yeah, down to her last £1 million.
I feel so bad for her. Like, you know, she might have to sell one of those platinum back scratchers or Aaron Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
We've got major specials coming up right here on the internet. We've got Warriors and Thieves coming out. That one is currently being edited and looking great.
And we've got Freeloaders coming up, which talks about corporate welfare and the law, how it really works.
Then the fact that churches don't pay taxes. But that would be facts and information mainstream media doesn't talk about.
And stay tuned and check out our municipal sustainability project.
That one's going out a whole citywide right now, and we're starting to get some really big international responses. Thanks for being part of the solution. Remember, activism is winning, fascism is losing.
And if you're watching this, you are the resistance.